Thank you for being here with us today. As a Donor Alliance team member, I want to thank you for letting Donor Alliance walk with you through the organ and tissue donation process. As a donor family member, I want to say I understand what it takes for you to be here with us today. And as a recipient family member, I want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to let your loved one save another life.
I want to start off by saying welcome to the family. My sister unfortunately passed away in a car accident, and together with my family, we decided to say yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It was such a beautiful thing to give 3 other families the opportunity to spend some more time with their loved ones. Even though I came to Donor Alliance because of a tragedy, I think Donor Alliance and being here has been that little ray of sunshine in like a cloudy day. I can't wait to meet some of you in events. And like I said, welcome to the family.
You honor them through facilitating this and create our donor heroes.
Sabemos que la donación de órganos es una decisión difícil en un momento muy difícil. Por eso agradecemos inmensamente que la familia de los donantes tomen una decisión tan generosa y altruista que salva vidas de otras personas. El impacto que generan es inmenso y vamos a estar siempre agradecidos.
You're not alone, especially coming from a mother who has lost a child. That's probably the biggest thing I would tell you is you are not alone. She was only 12, but she lived life to the fullest. And so that's what she's given the opportunity for other families to have another chance and to live life to the fullest. So when I do have those tough days of sadness and I'm missing her so much, I remember the legacy that she left behind. There's definitely a lot of greatness that comes out of this, even though we have lost loved ones. But just remember, you're not alone.
I've been working at Donor Alliance for 20 years. Being with these families at these difficult times is quite an honor to be able to share in the gift of life that these donor families are giving on behalf of their own loved ones to a stranger they've never met and might not ever meet. The lives that are saved go on to impact our community, impact in so many different ways that one can never understand and appreciate the love and the gift that this donor was able to provide.
What donation means to me and my family is a second opportunity, a second chance. My son is a cornea transplant recipient, and thanks to the donor family, he has been able to enjoy his life. When I see him thriving, I always think of the donor family. I am grateful every day.
Even on your hardest day, losing a loved one, you continue to make the sacrifice of changing and saving lives of others who are in need of organs.
En estos momentos me gustaría compartir con las familias donantes lo tanto que agradecemos esa oportunidad, ese privilegio, en ese momento tan sagrado de dejarnos abrirnos las puertas, de dejarnos estar apoyándolos a ustedes en una pérdida, en un momento tan delicado para usted y para su familia. Ustedes no saben lo tanto que nos inspira a nosotros de ser parte de ese proceso, de saber que ese impacto y esa decisión que estamos tomando unidos va definitivamente a ser una diferencia mucho más grande que ambos.
Thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for saying yes. Your courage is the key to our mission in saving and healing lives every day.
Our donors are heroes that make our mission here at Donor Alliance possible. And we are merely the stewards of these amazing gifts that they have given, and that humbles me every single day.
You and I have traveled different directions on this path of organ, eye, and tissue donation. You and I have been in very dark places. You have offered a light. You have offered hope. You have offered love, and you have offered life. My granddaughter has celebrated 8 birthdays since she received her heart transplant. She has put her toes into the Atlantic Ocean. She has put her toes into the Pacific Ocean. You and others like you have made Donor Alliance the amazing organization that it is. Without you and others like you, I would have lost one of the greatest blessings that I have ever received in my life. Thank you for your immeasurable gift.
What I would like to say to all donor and donor families is the amount of gratitude I have for you. You each hold a special place in my heart and have truly changed not only self, but my family and my community and the way that I look at life. Your selflessness and love for others is truly remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you for the gift of life.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From everyone that works closely with donor families, we thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Prinz. I'm the president and CEO for Donor Alliance. I'm also a donor family member. I'm a recipient family member. I'm a nurse, and I've had the opportunity to do this work for over 31 years. And I'm honored to be here with all of you today, and I appreciate all of you making the decision to be here with us today. On behalf of our staff and our board of directors, many of whom are present with us, I'd like to welcome the nearly 800 family members who are with us. And for you all to be able to be a part of our Colorado Donor Family Tribute themed Lives Transformed is quite an honor for us. And as you saw in the video, it's important to everyone at Donor Alliance. We have valued partners who are here as well, who help our team facilitate the gift of life through our hospitals, our tissue banks, our transplant centers, who are in the room, and you may meet them throughout the day. Their surgeons and our staff and their staff help steward these life-saving and healing gifts. You'll also notice that there are butterflies throughout today's event. You see the butterfly wall over here on my left. Those help us show the symbol of the lives that are transformed through donation. As with the butterfly, the process of transformation certainly takes time. For our donor family members and friends, thank you for being here. You may experience a range of emotions and find yourselves at different stages of grief. And I hope that you will remember that you are not alone on your journey. This afternoon, we all gather to celebrate the lives and the memories of your family members and friends who were organ, eye, and tissue donors. A heroic decision that represents the absolute best in humanity. We honor your loved ones through the lives of recipients who have been saved and healed by your loved ones' gifts. As a family member or friend, every one of you here today has a personal story to tell. I hope that you will share those stories at your tables. I hope you've been doing that already. And we hope that you will remember those memories and share those stories for years to come. Your loved ones' precious gifts transformed another person's life in extraordinary ways. This gift of life also transformed you in ways that only you can know and appreciate. As you will experience today, the gift of donation has an impact on the Donor Alliance staff, the community, and organ and tissue recipients throughout Colorado, Wyoming, and beyond. Donor Alliance is humble. I am humbled, and I am grateful for the opportunity to be with you throughout the journey while we honor your loved ones as heroes. Later in the program, we will have a special ceremony where you will be able to light a candle at your table in honor of your loved one. When the candles from all of the families in this room are lit and we see that soft glow, it will illuminate all of the love that each of you feel for your loved ones. The candle's flame speaks far beyond the words that any of us can use, and this will radiate the warmth that will shine a light of hope for all of us. I hope that you can reflect on and celebrate your loved one as you sit and listen to the speakers share their experiences of gratitude, life-saving healing, and strength. And may their words inspire each of you as your generosity has inspired all of us. And now it's my honor to be able to invite to the stage a longtime friend and colleague of mine, Kelsey Cassone Matthews.
As I stand here today in front of colleagues and friends and families that I have served, I want to take a moment of gratitude and just a quick second to invite in the courage that has allowed me to be able to be here. I am standing in front of you with the ability to hear your stories because of my second lease on life and a generous donor who said yes. For the past 18 years, I've been in death care at some capacity. I worked in an operating room, I worked for the coroner's office, I've worked for Donor Alliance, and for the past 8 years, I've owned my own funeral home. I say that with the profound understanding of loss and sadness that goes hand in hand with the generosity of donor families. In 2009, I got diagnosed with adult idiopathic scoliosis, a severely twisted spine with no particular origin. The pain that I had felt from the time that I was 18 years old was debilitating, and no one would take me seriously about how I physically felt. It took one compassionate provider and a few x-rays to realize that I had a serious problem going on. My curvature was progressing at a substantial rate. Knowing that I would be seriously physically impaired by the time I turned 30, I opted to have surgery. My surgeon, whose abilities are beyond my understanding, couldn't guarantee me pain-free, but he could tell me that it was my best option at continuing a relatively normal life. In 2011, I underwent a 14-level spinal fusion, a procedure in which 2 rods and 24 screws were secured down the crooked sides of my spine. Bone grafts from a generous donor were packed throughout the spaces, which caused the fusing of all of my vertebrae together for stability. With this, however, I lost all flexibility through my spine. I had to relearn how to walk, drive, shave my legs. I had to wean off pain medication. I had to spend a birthday in tears because I never thought it would get better. But here I am, 14 years later, with 2 perfect pregnancies behind me, a business that far supersedes just having a passion for taking care of others, and some of my worst days only taking ibuprofen. With that, I give a huge thank you to the donor and their family who was able to say yes to the gift of donation, the staff at Donor Alliance for making these transplanted gifts a reality, the biotech companies, and the surgical teams that literally put it all together. I am hopeful of some of my best days yet to come, and I will never cease to continue demonstrating comfort, bravery, and support for my children and my community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrea Ogg. I am a wife to Derek, a mom to 2 dogs, Tori and PJ, and I am a heart transplant recipient. This is my story. One moment, sorry. That's me. I'm saying goodbye to my dogs, Gus and Boo. Shortly before this photo was taken, I received the phone call that a kind stranger was saving my life. I am about to make a 2-hour mad dash by boat to my hospital in Seattle, where I will spend a sleepless night thinking of my donor and my donor family and wondering about my own future, if I was going to have a future. But you know, I'm kind of starting in the middle and most stories have a beginning. That's also me. I was born a bit of a ham and with left ventricular non-compaction cardiomyopathy. Easy for me to say. There are many flavors of cardiomyopathy, but what mine meant is that my heart didn't form correctly in utero and never functioned properly. Not that I had a diagnosis. As a child, it became clear that I couldn't tolerate exercise the same way that other kids did. But I kept trying. I took the dance lessons. I tried out for soccer, volleyball, basketball, everything. But I just couldn't keep up with the other kids. Consequently, throughout my young life, I was told that I was lazy, that I was undisciplined, that I just didn't want things as much as other kids wanted them, and that I wasn't willing to work as hard for them. And you know what? I internalized that. I thought I was lazy. I thought I was undisciplined. I sure couldn't figure out how people wanted things more than I did or worked harder for them because I felt like I wanted things a lot, and I felt like I was working really hard. It wasn't until my mid-30s that I got my diagnosis. And then I learned that not only was I not lazy, I was working harder than all the other kids just to show up. I also learned that I would never have my own children, and that I likely was not going to have the long and healthy and normal life that I thought I would have. But you know, I was in my mid-30s, so I kept trying for that normal life, and I would tell anyone who would listen my story. And I always ended that story with that sort of breathless and brave, and if things just get bad enough, I'll get a heart transplant. Not that I ever thought that that would happen. I mean, who gets a heart transplant? So let's fast forward to 2017. By now, I am working 60-hour work weeks. I have a 4-hour round-trip commute, and I'm doing musical theater in all my spare time. As you can see, the excitement was palpable because I was not well, and my numbers kept staying the same. I was that weird patient who just kept going and going and going, defying all expectations, until it all came crashing down. It was a Saturday morning in August, and I was getting ready to leave for rehearsals for a disco musical I was doing called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. For those of you who are not familiar with the show, think of it this way: very fast-paced, singing in full voice while dancing for 2 hours every night. I was not keeping up with the other kids, and I was really worried I was going to be cut from the show. It was a Saturday morning, and I stood up from my vanity and walked over to my bathroom sink to brush my teeth. I didn't feel well. My husband, Derek, who was in the other room, suddenly heard me say, "Oh my God, oh my God," and then he heard me hit the floor. The next thing I knew, my bathroom was filled with cute firemen, and I was mortified in my ratty pajamas and had not brushed my teeth yet, and I was telling them all that this was ridiculous. I needed to get to rehearsal. I had just had low blood pressure, and I had fainted. But Derek was having none of that, thankfully, and they whisked me off to the ER, where I was certain he would be chagrined to learn that he had caused me to miss a rehearsal for low blood pressure. Unfortunately, we found out several hours later it wasn't low blood pressure. At the time that I stood up from my vanity and walked to my bathroom sink, I was experiencing a prolonged episode of ventricular flutter. And at the time that my heart stopped beating, it was going 323 beats per minute. It was a wake-up call. I spent one night in the hospital and was discharged the next day with the promise that I would make an appointment with my own heart failure cardiologist to do more testing, determine next steps, medication adjustments. But I didn't make that appointment. I didn't want to be told I couldn't do the show. I didn't want to be told that this normal life I had worked so hard to build for myself was coming crashing down. So 2 days later, I was back at work and I was back in rehearsals. because the show must go on. And go on it did. If you're familiar with this show, it ends with the Gloria Gaynor song, I Will Survive. It's a very life-affirming song. And so every night, I would dance across the stage into my final position, my final button during the finale. And I would be holding my note full voice, and I would have confetti cannons going off behind me, and the crowd would be on their feet cheering. I had tears running down my face because I will survive. My God, I did survive. It all felt really triumphant to me. But the show did eventually end, and I did go see my heart failure cardiologist. And what we learned is that there were no more next steps. I had fooled us all. I was already in end-stage heart failure. In fact, had done the show in end-stage heart failure. And the only choice left for me was heart transplant. By the time I made the transplant list, I could no longer walk across my living room without gasping for breath. I could not climb a single flight of stairs. And suddenly, my survival depended on the kindness of a stranger. About 6 months later, I found myself saying goodbye to my dogs, rushing off to my hospital in Seattle, and finally receiving that new heart and opening my eyes on a brand new world. It's hard to explain just how new this world was to me, but we'll start with, I felt good for the first time in my life. In fact, every other time someone had asked me how I felt, and I said I felt good, that was a lie, because I had no idea what feeling good felt like. And it was in that moment that I made the promise to my donor and my donor family that I was going to take exquisite care of this heart, that I was going to take it everywhere, and we were going to do all of the things because I wanted to give this heart the life any parent would want for their child. And 24 days later, I was released from the hospital, and I got busy building that life. You guys, I felt so good, I never even stopped moving. I did cardiac rehab as soon as I could. I started taking some much-needed dancing lessons, and I joined a gym. At 5 months post-transplant, my new heart was cast in its first musical, Mamma Mia. And one Sunday matinee, as I'm going out, dancing across the stage, hitting that final button, again, confetti cannons going off behind me, the crowd on their feet cheering and dancing. I looked into the crowd, and 5 rows up, center stage, was my transplant team. My transplant coordinator was smiling ear to ear, tears running down her face. And tears were running down mine too. What you maybe don't know about Mamma Mia is the finale song is Dancing Queen. So as I stood there, tears running down my face, I thought, what a full circle moment this is. I have gone from I will survive to being a dancing queen. After that, Derek and I were able to move back to Colorado, and I got busy building out this new life that I wanted for me in this heart. And suddenly, and without warning, it included something I had never, ever been able to do: run. Oh my gosh, maybe I had an athlete inside me after all. So 5 years post-transplant, in order to honor my donor, I decided that I would run the world's highest downhill half marathon. It's called the Slacker. It starts at 11,000 feet at Loveland Ski Basin here in Colorado. I trained for it for 6 months. I drove everyone in my life insane talking about it. And on June 24th, the day before I turned 57, I ran across that finish line. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Talk about a crazy, surreal moment. To go from not being able to walk across my own living room to running across a finish line after over 13 miles. It was incredible. I thought, who even am I? Well, simply put, I'm an organ recipient. And my story is not possible without an organ donor. You see, there you go. You see two different versions of me here. On the left, you see the woman that I left behind in 2018. And on the right, you see the woman who was reborn through the most radical act of kindness a person could ever commit. And in the middle of that, you see my donor and my donor family. They are the bridge that connects my old half-life to my new full one. And there is not a day that goes by that I do not think about them and hope that if they could see me, they would be proud and happy of what I'm doing with this heart. The reality is I carry them inside of it every day. Because in the end, this isn't really my story. It's our story. It's their story, and it's your story. Because we are all connected through organ donation. And I hope you know, I could not be more grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Steph Dewar, and I've been a donor family coordinator for organs with Donor Alliance for the past 2 years. I have had the privilege of supporting our donors and their loved ones through the organ donation process. I've even been fortunate enough to support some of the incredible people in this room today. However, my journey with Donor Alliance and the donation world actually started with my brother back in September of 2020. Max was my older brother. He was more than that, though. He was a wonderful father of 2 beautiful children, Chloe and Elijah. They were his entire world. He was kind and compassionate, putting others before himself whenever he could. He was curious and smart, and naturally athletic and talented. He was a protective big brother who tried to push me to do better and be better. As a teenager, Max was a soccer player being scouted for college teams when his world was shattered by an ACL tear. The pain medications he was prescribed after his surgery eventually took over. Despite trying his hardest to get sober several times, in September of 2020, at the age of 32, he would succumb to his addiction. As a family who loved an addict, we had prepared ourselves for this day. What we didn't necessarily prepare ourselves for was that Max had already made his decision known. He was going to be an organ and tissue donor. Organ and tissue donation was something our family had discussed vaguely in the past, as in we all knew this is what would happen if or when any of us died. It almost felt like the easiest part of talking about dying. These conversations probably felt like a faint memory when, just a month before his passing, Max would register to be an organ and tissue donor. When I received the news that I needed to come say goodbye to Max, all the preparation we'd done over the years seemed pointless. I wasn't prepared at all. None of us were. He was pronounced brain dead later that day. But when my parents told me that Max had registered to be a donor and would be fulfilling that wish in the coming days, I felt relief. I'm not sure if Max knew he would be losing his battle with addiction so soon, but he knew that the right thing to do if and when that happened was to save other lives. Max became a few statistics that day. He was one of the tens of thousands of people to lose their lives to addiction in the US that year. However, he was also one of the tens of thousands of people who saved and healed lives by registering to be an organ and tissue donor. Max saved 5 lives through his gift of organ donation. He also saved the lives... He also saved the lives of those of us he left behind and the families of those recipients. We heard from the wife of one of his kidney recipients who reminded us of all the wonderful things she could do again with her husband because of Max. I've also been fortunate enough to thank the family and clinical coordinators who helped make Max's donation possible. He even unknowingly prepared us for our dad's passing just 363 days later. Despite him not being eligible, we were ready to honor his decision with pride. That decision is what brings hope to those awaiting life-saving organ transplants and the tens of thousands of others waiting tissue transplants. When I saw the job posting for Donor Alliance in 2023, I knew I had to apply. I had to be a part of the organization and the mission that helped my family through one of the hardest times of our lives. These last 2 years, I've carried Max's decision with me for every conversation with every family I have. Not every family hears about him, but they do hear how life-saving donations are, not just for those recipients, but for those of us left behind as well. Not every conversation is easy, but every conversation is an honor because our donors truly are heroes. Thank you, Max, and thank you, Donor Alliance.
Kelsey, Andrea, and Steph, thank you for sharing such touching and impactful stories. These stories illuminate the impact of the gift of life. Now I am honored to begin our candle lighting ceremony. As we prepare for the ceremony, please listen closely as I'm going to explain some instructions on how to proceed. When you hear your loved one's name and see their photo on the screen, you are welcome to stand or to stay seated. Once your loved one's name is called, please find one of the many lighters on your table and light the candle in the etched vase in honor of your loved one. After the candle is lit and you have taken a moment to reflect on your loved one, please take your seat again and quietly listen to the rest of the names. For those of you who have just registered today, your loved ones' names will be read at the end. And again, if there are not enough candles at each table, one per family, please raise your hand now and a staff member will bring you a candle. Now I would like to welcome to the stage Jay Rudabores, the Director of Organ Procurement, and Steve Mansfield, the Director of Tissue Services, to begin our recognition program.
Connor Eloise.
Brandon Emmanuel Andrade Organ.
Brandy Lee Apodaca.
Sarah Arnick.
Brandon Brando Atencio.
Rosella Rose Antenin.
Gregory A. Atkins.
Gianna Maria Attardi. Miley Juanita Baker. Nicholas Baker. Douglas Dale Barber. Christina Bartholomew.
Brian P. Berrigan, Jr.
Leo Bibler.
Cadence Brannaman.
Lindsay Breeze.
Jack Brewer.
Crystal Marie Brotmarkle.
Roberta Maisha Brown.
Roger Brown.
Dawson Jeremy Patrick Burns.
Taylor Sienna Bush.
RJ Bustamento.
Brian Carrasco.
Michael Adam Carrillo.
Cameron Claire Carson.
Johnny Isaiah Casares.
Moises Diego Cisneros.
Michael Collins.
Aquaria Butterfly Cortez.
Stephen Craig.
Dennis Dottie.
David Dye.
Jeffrey S. Dixon.
Thomas Kennedy Early III.
Nick Farrell.
Loretta Flagoli.
Sue Foley.
Kay Gallegos.
Javier Joaquin Garcia.
John Michael Garcia.
Marco Francisco Garcia.
Andrea Goldberg.
Mario Gonzalez, also known as Uncle Fox.
Joseph Grobelby.
Tyler Harrison Ham.
Chet Hampson.
David Harden.
Christine Hawks.
Betsy Ann Hawkins.
Greg Hay.
Terry Hirschland.
Matt Hobson.
Michael Hughes.
Rod Hunter.
Kara Emery.
David Inabnit Jr.
Levi Hudson Enema.
Kosi K. Ismail.
Andrea Jackson.
Uldis Jake Janssens.
Kenneth Johnner.
David Keenan Knight.
Joseph Sigmund Kilinowski.
Donna Koloski.
Pamela Korth.
Kwok Lee.
Warren Ezekiel Lemons.
Howard Levette.
Marcia Ann Lopez.
Freddie Lucero Avila.
Brian Luna.
Ben Stumpy Lynch.
Alexander Mark.
Miguel A. Martinez.
Aurora Ray Masters.
Scott Masters.
Matthew James McCagran.
Sue McLean.
Dennis Meadows Sr.
Poppy Miller.
Chris Maturko.
Catherine Jane Moffett.
Pops Montano.
Patrick Morris.
Deborah Ann Mueller.
Jay Munson.
Michael Albert Myers.
Jacob Nielsen.
Justin Neeson.
Cody Noe.
Dan Orr.
Christian Page.
Kimberly Parker.
Devin Powell.
Haley R. Quintana.
Destin Raven.
Jean Reed.
Dr. James Robert Regan.
Opal E. Rayner.
John V. Riley.
Maria Teresa Reyes.
Jacob Allen Remenschneider.
Gavin Rodriguez.
Jim Rogo.
Emma Rose.
Cynthia Rotman.
Quint Verley Skaggs.
Jody Schofield.
Ashley Isabella Scott.
Leticia M. Sena.
John A. Shively.
Tom Sittenpole.
Tyler Skagen.
Sean Raymond Skillen.
Jonathan Slater.
Margaret M. Smith.
Vern Michael Smith.
Emmy Bear Summer.
Alberto Sotelo Chaparro.
Ryan T. Spear.
Alexis Story.
Ronald Strew.
Joshua Tapia.
Christopher Thomas.
David Eloy Thompson.
Cadence Joanne Tilton.
Elizabeth Grace Tovar.
Brian P. Treadway.
Kyle James Trombley.
Donald Jerry Vigil, Jerry Donald Vigil.
Matthew Michael Vigil.
Jim Vitale.
Bob Walker.
Todd Ward.
Daniette Watson.
Karen Lee Wayland.
Leah Nicole Weaver.
Billiana Welch.
William Whittlesey.
Vincent Wayberg.
Aaron John Williams, Jr.
Kurt Pricer William.
Rita Williams.
Ryan Williams.
Amanda Rain Willis.
Lee Wilson.
Tommy Wilson.
Jeanette Wentz.
Brent Lee Winston.
Jeffrey Michael Wolf.
Clarence Butch Green.
Max Dewar.
Don Green. Irving Allen Barber.
Thank you.
Look around at all the families present today and recognize the enlightening influence that you all collectively have on this world. It has been said, lighting a candle for someone loved and lost shines light out to them and warms you near. Let us take a few moments to simply and silently reflect on our loved ones, those with us, and those who are gone. Thank you.
There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have long been extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world, though they are not long among the living. We remember those whom death has taken from our midst. Taking these dear ones into our hearts with all of our beloved, we recall them now with reverence. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember them. In the opening buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember them. When we are lost and are sick of heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live. For they are now a part of us, as we remember them.